Hey guys, Tigel here. In the Why I Like series, we've covered a wide variety of games, ranging from platformers to survival games to first-person puzzlers. And usually I try to pad out these videos with interesting and informative bits about the game's design. The videos are not only meant for you to get my opinion, but to hopefully take away some new knowledge about game design as a whole. You might be wondering, well, why the fuck is he telling me all this? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because this episode we're doing Peggle. Peggle. So, what the fuck is Peggle? Well, it's not much. There are a bunch of pegs on the screen. Some are blue and some are orange. You shoot at the pegs with a ball. After a peg has been hit with a ball, it will disappear. Your goal is to clear all of the orange pegs from the level. Every level, there's also 2 green pegs, which gives you your special ability depending on which character you're using. There's also a purple peg that gives you extra points that moves to a different blue peg every turn. You start with 10 shots, and you can get free balls by landing in the moving bucket across the bottom, or by scoring enough points on a turn. And that, well, that's it. And so initially I thought, you can't do a video on Peggle. 1, because it's just too simple, and 2, because I don't even know if it's actually good. I mean, I feel like the only reason I actually like it is from the nostalgia of playing it on my grandma's PC when I was a little kid. But then I had a buddy over, we were just chilling, and I happened to have Peggle up, and I let him have a few rounds. We did some other shit and then he went home. But then 2 hours later, I get a text. How much is Peggle? And that's when I realized that this game is so simple and so dumb that it can resonate with pretty much everybody. So, what does Peggle have going for it? When I took a closer look, it actually started to make a lot of sense. In fact, the more I look at it, the more I think that Peggle is the perfect casual game. I literally can't think of another casual game I've played that comes even close to how geniusly designed this game is. And the funniest part is that's not even a joke. The first thing that I'll point out is Peggle's wide appeal in the market. Peggle's gameplay is so goddamn easy to understand that basically anyone can play it. And not only is the gameplay simple, but Peggle also just looks like things that people have seen before. The ball looks like a pinball or a marble, and the game looks a lot like Plinko or other similar games. So to an audience that probably doesn't play very many video games, this familiarity is very appealing. And to top it all off, the game only uses one main button to control everything in the game. All you have to do is point and click, meaning there's no barrier to entry with any complicated button combinations or need for any hand-eye coordination skills. When I say that everyone can play this game, I really mean it. Everyone from a preschooler who just likes looking at the cute characters and flashing lights, to your grandmother who's never played a video game in her life, can sit down and enjoy this game. Another super important aspect of Peggle is both its visual and sound design. This ties into the accessibility I was talking about. Every aspect about this game's presentation serves a very specific purpose. If we're going super surface level, the game just has a very fun vibe. There are cartoonish characters, chill music, and lots of color. But there are other aspects of the presentation that serve a much more deliberate purpose. For instance, each peg you hit emits a sound that goes up in pitch. So each time we hear the pitch rise on each consecutive hit, we know that we're scoring more points. There's a direct correlation established between rising pitch and rising score. And on top of all of this, it serves as a brilliant way to make a shot feel really good. It actually plays on our own deep human want for resolution. It's basically built into our minds to want to hear this musical scale reach its conclusion. So when it finally does, we feel really satisfied. And that's only one example of this game doing this kind of thing. There's a meter that rises on the left side of your screen as you rack up points to reinforce the audio feedback. Every time you hit a peg, it lights up completely and clearly, so it becomes very distinct from the other pegs around it. There's really nice sound effects that play when you make a cool shot, which makes those kinds of shots more fun to hit. With all these things combined, not only is the gameplay super clear, but also super satisfying. Then there's the randomness factor. The peg layout on each level stays the same. What's randomized is where the orange and green pegs end up. This keeps the levels fresh and challenging. If the orange pegs were always in the same place, you could just memorize the best shots for each level, which wouldn't exactly be very interesting or fun. And finally, Peggle is a great example of what I love to see in any game, and that's providing the player with not only a full and enjoyable main course of gameplay, but also a healthy dose of optional challenges. There's a bunch of extra challenge levels after the main campaign that are actually really fucking hard. I've said it before and I'll say it again. For those of us who can't get enough, we get extra content that pushes us to use all of our knowledge and mastery to complete. And for those who had enough of a challenge with just the campaign and are satisfied with their time, they still got to enjoy a fun full-length experience. So, when you get down to it, Peggle is actually a really good example of how to make a really enjoyable casual game. This of course was released before the era of microtransactions, so it's just no bullshit fun with a lot of really clever design. And as always, I recommend you try this game out. It's old and it's really simple, but it's surprisingly really fun. What's this? What? Peggle tier list? Peggle tier list? Peggle tier list. So first off, we're gonna start with the characters that are absolute shit, okay? Because there are a couple of these fucks fucking terrible. They can't do anything for you. Their powers, terrible. If I have to start off with the first pick, Hamster. He has double ball, like so when you hit the green peg it spawns another ball. Here's the thing, that ball never fucking goes anywhere near where you'd ever want it to be. And look at him! He rides a fucking skateboard. I'm sorry, you're F tier. There's probably too many tiers for this list. I didn't make the picture. Just gonna have to bear with me here. Next up, we're gonna switch things up. We're gonna actually go not with a shit character, but with a super fucking sick character. It might not be what you're expecting, but this little fucking guy, Unicorn Man, actually really good. And it's kind of unexpected because it's the first character you can actually use. But, I don't want to misgender the pony, but her power, I think, is really good. You can, see where your ball is going to bounce, and that can be very useful for, doing some sick shit. You know what I'm saying? Getting really good scores, because it can help you. Yeah, trust me. We're gonna go back down with another shitty character. This character, fucking cat, terrible. What it does is you get like a little thing on your bucket, a little pyramid, little cute little, yeah, it sucks. It barely helps. It like never helps me get a free ball, and all it is a waste, because I could be using someone else's power, which is insanely better. Next character on the list. Let's keep it up with the shitters. Okay, Claude the Crab. Terrible. Terrible. Absolutely shitty. What he does is he can do little crab flippers, like pinball machine flippers on the side of your screen, but they're on the side of your screen. Are you always shooting at the side of your screen? No. In fact, very often, you're not going to end up on the side of the screen, and the flippers become absolutely useless. I know these are all Fs, but he should go bottom F, because that's just how bad he is. I think Claude the Crab is quite frankly the worst character in this entire game. Moving on. Next, we're gonna go with a bit of a wild card here. Warren the Rabbit. Absolute fucking god. Now, he can be pretty shitty, because his powers are actually random. You spin a wheel, you get an option of certain things. However, he has the highest potential of any character. So if you're attempting a challenge and you need a very high score, if you get Warren's power and you roll triple score both times, you're fucking chillin', dude. You are chillin'. not only is it great for score, but when you do get the triple score, you are basically guaranteed a free ball on that shot. Pretty cool. And the top hat power up is not bad either. Fucking Owl. I forget his name. I can't remember everyone's name. They're all dumb anyway. Owlman. He's gonna go B. He's got to be B. Because his power ranges from being very good to really shitty. What it does is it takes your shot and then it edits the angle a little bit to give you a better shot, quote unquote. Sometimes it doesn't seem to always work perfectly, but other times you can get really, really fucking nasty shots with this guy. And what I've discovered is it works really well on levels that have a bunch of bricks in like a line. Oftentimes I feel like the shot will give me a nice little slide, and that's cool, but it doesn't always work very well. Next up on the list, we're going to put Tula the fucking flower, and honestly I'd put her in A tier. What her power does is when you hit a green peg, it will light up a certain percentage of orange pegs. So obviously you want to hit the green pegs as soon as you possibly can, because the more orange pegs that are on the screen that are left, obviously this percentage is going to be higher. So pretty good, and actually pretty effective, especially if you're doing challenges that have higher numbers of orange pegs. It can be pretty good. And I definitely put the alien man in the same tier. In fact, I think these characters are really similar. In fact, they're so similar that I think the only reason to choose between the two is very situational. It's all level based. Some levels are going to be much better for the alien, some much better for the flower. So pick and choose, very similar, both good. This is a tough one for me because I like using the dragon a lot and I think he's really good. And honestly, I think he's better than both the alien and the flower, but he's not good enough to be put into S tier. I think he is the best A tier character. His power is being able to burn through pegs, which can be really good for certain levels, but a lot of the time it doesn't net you a ton of score. And to be honest, it's really anti-Peggle, if that makes any sense. Instead of going for combos and trying to hit a bunch of pegs, you just go right through them, which can be good for hitting an orange peg that's behind a lot of things, but not so good if you're at the start of the level, because when you're at the start of the level, your goal is to hit as many pegs as you can. In fact, since all the pegs are there, it's much easier to get a higher scoring shot, and well, with the dragon, you're probably going to hit less pegs since you burn right through all of them. Pumpkin Man? Definitely S tier. Pumpkin Man's power is after you hit a green peg, your ball will turn into a spooky ball. And when that ball goes through the bottom of the screen, where it would normally disappear and you do your next shot, instead it loops back around from the top of the screen and allows you to keep hitting more pegs. And what I found with this is it is really good for high scoring, especially since these shots will often be your highest scoring shots by far, especially if you can get this off on the very first shot. So there's my wait, hold on. I lied. Fucking you're B tier at best. I'm sorry. I wanted to give you the fucking benefit of the doubt, but no, absolutely. Peggle tier list, final edition. We'll move this up for fucking visual sake. There you go. Peggle tier list, baby.